What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your economic update and daily news report for Tuesday, May 17th. So we actually have some things that we need to get to, that we need to discuss, because there are some big stimulus lies that are coming out. Now, I want to talk about a $1,000 check that's going to go to every single American. This is the big rumor that has been going about, but again, this is not just a rumor. This is actually something that was said by a Republican representative. So I want to bring that to you today. We're also going to dive into an economic update, what we are seeing, and how 2022 is looking eerily similar to 2000, which was the dot-com bubble. So make sure you stick around for that. We also have some good news because Nestle is actually going to be airlifting or air freighting baby formula into the United States. So that is good news for babies and parents. And also I want to discuss how Americans are currently hoarding cash and why they're hoarding cash. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. All I ask is spend 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button, and let's get right down to the update. So here's what's going on. I want to talk about this. Republican representative pushes for $1,000 stimulus to all Americans. This is actually coming from Republican Representative Jim Banks. Now, the reason why I want to bring this up is actually pretty simple. He stated that using $40 billion from the Ukraine aid is not a good use of money. He made it very clear that Republicans didn't support the use of money to go to Ukraine. Okay? They didn't want to see this aid package go through. He said, and I quote, "And with what's going on in America right now, I'd rather be helping Americans get back on their feet than sending money abroad with no strings attached to foreign countries." This is also where he said, that's $1,000 to every single American, is the equivalent of $40 billion. Now, here's what you need to know. This is where that big lie comes in. What we know is that there's over 330 million Americans, 330 million people here in the United States. If we provide $1,000 to every single person, that means we would spend more than $330 billion. Okay? $330 billion. That's not the same as $40 billion that's being offered to Ukraine. It's actually $39.8 billion, but again, very close to $40 billion. Now, how much would the American people get if Congress decided, let's spend the $40 billion and send all that money over to the American people? Well, first off, you're going to lose money because of mailing, okay? Because people sometimes have to get a check in the mail. They're not getting direct deposits. So we would see a check of roughly $120 each. $120. So we got 5 people in your family. That's $600 that you guys would receive. Yeah, it would provide some help, would provide some assistance, but that's where this is a big lie, is we would not all get $1,000. Could we? Could the American people get $1,000? Yeah. Will it be to every single person? Over 330 million people? Absolutely not. Not even close. So, here's what I want you to keep in mind. As we get closer to the midterm elections, here's what's going to happen. Republicans are going to throw out different ideas to make Democrats look bad for not moving forward with those ideas. This is one of those. Democrats are also going to be trying to pass certain provisions in order to get Republicans on record of voting against them. So essentially doing the exact same thing. And this is exactly what Democrats did when they tried to get Republicans to vote to codify the abortion rights, right? And so this is what you need to remember. Nothing is guaranteed until it passes through Congress. So honestly, don't believe all those people out there that are saying, yeah, $1,000 checks, they're coming, because honestly, we couldn't be further from the truth. There's still a lot of work that has to be done to try to get more to the American people. But again, at this time, it's very difficult because we still have inflation over 8%. We are still worried about the potential of a recession. So, this is something that we need to look at. Now, one of the things I do want to talk about right now is what the economy is doing. Give you a little economic update. And I asked you guys the other day, if you like economic updates and daily news, please let me know and just write economic update down in the comment section below. This will give me an idea of how many people like economic updates as opposed to just daily news. All right, so let's talk about our economy for a moment. Now, many experts are saying that the current 2022 economy is looking eerily similar to the dot-com bubble back in 2000. Now, we currently have a very strong job market. The Fed is currently raising rates. We expect another 2 times will raise rates by 50 basis points. Companies who have zero or honestly very little profit are still being overvalued. And that's an issue. And then we got our financial market is beginning to correct or sell off, as some people say. This is exactly what happened back in 2000. But it wasn't until 2001 that we entered into a recession. Now, this is what financial experts are worried about. That we will be too far into this by the time people realize what's going on and how bad the economy actually is. And again, we could lose a bunch of money before then. Now, if you throw in the fact that we're still trying to get through COVID, which is still a major issue, we have China on lockdowns due to their zero COVID policy. We have a war going on between Russia and Ukraine. We have Russia threatening Sweden and Finland over joining NATO, right? Which could put more pressure on our global markets. And then we have sky-high inflation all over the world, not just in the US, all over the entire world. Well, right now economists worry that we are going to struggle for quite some time and that most people will not be prepared for this. Most people will not be able to handle it. So, here's my advice to you. Be prepared. Have money saved up. Get a second job while the economy is still somewhat hot. Yeah, we're slowing down, but there's still so many jobs out there. Go and get a second job. Start a side hustle. Ask your employer for an extra few hours a week and be ready for what could potentially come. Because again, this is where most people will not be ready. They will not have money saved up. They're going to have too much debt. They're going to have too many liabilities, not enough assets. That's where people are going to get screwed. All right? So, let's talk about why having money is a good thing right now. Okay? Because here's what people are saying. And according to Bank of America's Fund Manager Survey, there will be further stock market declines. So if you are counting on your portfolio as your savings, this won't work. Because as it declines, you feel like your savings are starting to dwindle. Well, as they do, you spend less money, you feel less secure, and then, well, I don't have to tell you what happens then. Now, this is why many investors are actually putting aside their investments and they're piling into cash because cash is safer. Cash is not going to make you money. Cash is not going to do that. You're actually going to be losing money because of where holding cash is. Let's say you get 0.1% of an interest at the bank. You're going to get nothing, right? 0.1%. Wonderful. Well, inflation is at 8.3. So you're losing money right there. You're losing money just to start. Well, when crypto is down by what, 40-50% year over year, you're safer holding on to cash than you are in crypto. Well, the stock market's down, right? Bond market, well, who really wants to put money into bonds, right? Nobody. But that's the thing. What is the safest investment? The safest investment right now could potentially be cash. Well, here's what Bank of America says. Bank of America says that cash levels are amongst investors have hit the highest levels since September 2001. I want to show you this chart. Look at this. Here's where we're at today, May 2022. Here's where we were at before, okay? Right here, September 2001. September 2001 was not a good time. This is when our economy was already in a recession. And on top of a recession, then this was the month of September 11th, the attack on the World Trade Centers, which obviously not a great time. But this is why people are piling into cash. And according to Bank of America, okay, according to their the Global Fund Manager Survey, here are the reasons why people are hoarding cash. These are the fears that they have. Look at this. So the majority, 31%, are saying that they're worried about the hawkish central banks. What's Jerome Powell going to do? What will the Federal Reserve's next move be? We don't know. Next one, 27%, is a global recession. This is highly likely. We could see this. Okay? We could seriously see this. 18% are worried about inflation. Only 10% are worried about Russia and the Ukraine conflict. 7% are worried about systemic credit event. And then 1% about COVID. COVID was the big thing. The big thing. And now it's central banks, global recession, inflation, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict. You see how times have changed so quickly? Yeah. Things aren't looking better. They're looking worse. But that's kind of what we're seeing at this time. Now, I do want to talk about some good news because over the past few weeks, or a couple weeks really, I've been discussing how we're seeing shortages. A lot of shortages. Many shortages. Well, there's one shortage that, I feel for. And again, all of these shortages I really feel for. Gas shortages, food shortages, right? Worker shortages, obviously. But there's one that really, touches me, right? But it's this one. It is the fact that we are seeing a baby formula shortage. Now, the good thing is Nestle is going to be air freighting infant formula to the U.S. from Europe in order to help ease the baby formula shortage. This is really good news because what they're going to do is they're actually going to be starting with 2 formula brands. One is the Gerber Good Start Extensive, and the other one is called Alpha Mino. These 2 different brands, the reason why they're being prioritized right now over like Similac or some of those others is pretty much because of the need for babies with allergies to cow milk protein. And so these 2 formula brands are going to provide this to babies. So this is actually really good news that this just came out this morning. So that's good news there that we are going to see baby formula start hitting the shelves. So that is great news for those parents that are worried that their child doesn't have the right amount of nutrition. So that's what we know at this time. Again, there's a bunch of stuff going on right now. As we get more information as to what is happening, how it is impacting all of us here in the US, I promise I will be here every step of the way to provide you with the latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.